Well, hello there, and here I am for day 7 of the Learning Golang series with me, Matt. If you're new to this series, as I say always at the start of these videos, what I'm doing in this series is recounting a session of learning Go, because I sit down each and every day, Monday to Friday that is, not Saturdays and Sundays, for half an hour, strictly half an hour, and learn something more about Go or build on my existing knowledge of Go. And then after that, I share it here on YouTube and also on my blog, which you can find at matthewsetter.com. Now, today's session, it was a good one. It was a good one because it kind of pushed me to really, what would you say, work the grey matter, because today I learned about Go closures. Now, if you're not familiar with closures, I'm not going to try and say it off the top of my head. I'm going to read you a little quote. One moment. Now, a Go closure is an anonymous nested function which retains bindings to variables defined outside the body of the closure. Closures can hold a unique state of their own. The state then becomes isolated as we create new instances of the function. Now, if that's your first time hearing about all of those terms as I continue to read this, I think that will need a little bit more information to put that into context and make it meaningful. So let me go on and kind of continue on with the quote that I borrowed from a wonderful site called zcode.com. Links in the description below. Now, a nested function, also called an inner function, is a function defined inside another function. An anonymous function is a function definition that is not bound to an identifier. Anonymous functions are often arguments being passed to higher order functions. If this is really your first time hearing about it, that just might not make a whole lot of sense. So I'm just going to freewheel this and say that I found this session learning closures interesting and also challenging, partly because I guess theoretically I appreciate what they are. I'm used to using them to an extent in PHP, my main development language, but I haven't necessarily used them a lot, so I don't necessarily have as much experience to draw upon perhaps as I should or I would like to have. So when I approached them today, there was a bit of friction, perhaps is the right word. I wasn't quite kind of clicking with it, and partly because what I wanted to work through, what kind of caused this to happen, was, if I just can find my notes here today, I was on the, where is it? I should have had this ready. There we go. The Fibonacci closure exercise, which is based on or helping you to learn about closures. And where I kind of struggled, I'll link to the, what would you say, the stub of the solution that is provided in the Go tour as I look at it here, or at least part of it. What it asks you to do is, here we go, is to define the function Fibonacci, which returns a function which in turn returns an int. And I was kind of struggling with, and then you call the Fibonacci function in the main function of the Go application or Go script, Go code, and then, and you store that the function that's returned from the call to the Fibonacci function in a variable called f, don't mind my loud keyboard there. And then you call that, the return function inside a loop. And based on the definition, I kind of looked and thought, well, yes, the function can have access to variables defined outside of its immediate scope. But how does that work inside of a loop? Like, how does the loop variable get inside of the closure? Until I realized that actually wasn't the point. You were calling, it wasn't kind of that complicated. I was overcomplicating it, as I'm wont to do. But that the intent was to define variables inside the Fibonacci function, which the anonymous function, which is returned from the call to the Fibonacci function, has access to. And here's the part where hopefully I can actually string this together and have clarity of thought. I found it bizarre, a sense of voodoo, if you will, to have a function which can have access to variables or state outside of its definition, but that when that function goes away, where the anonymous function got its state from, it still can link to that state even though that state has gone away. I think I've described that correctly. I hope I have. If you're a more seasoned Go developer, please chime on in the comments. That was the part that kind of really, as I want to say, cooked my noodle. It just seemed really strange that you could have access to state after that state had gone away. That said, after a while of playing with the solution and fiddling with it, that certain kind of cool kind of feeling kicked in that you have that, or that the closures have that functionality. So today's session, in short, was challenging, kind of mentally, to kind of appreciate what was happening. But once that proverbial penny started dropping, it became really cool and really fun. So really enjoying it. I think I might need to spend like another day or two just to kind of keep going over this. Plus half an hour is not really that long to drive a concept home. But anyway, that said, that's it for today's session. If you liked the video and you kind of could work with me stumbling through this, or you like the other videos and this one's just, a quirky addition, please give me a thumbs up. It'd be awesome if you're liking this series of videos. If you could subscribe to the channel, even turn on that bell notification icon so you know when new videos like this or others that I produce on this channel come out. Also, it'd be great. Also, doing that helps me to know that you're interested, so it's good motivation to create more content. And if you are learning Go like me and this is helping you, please let me know in the comments. That'd be really cool. So that way I know that I'm kind of imparting something that you find valuable. If you're an awesome Go developer and you want to kind of give me some direction and some guidance, that'd be cool too. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Oh, one last thing. If you like the series, if you like the videos, you want to contribute in some way, you can always buy me a coffee. Though I don't actually drink coffee, more drink tea, but whatever, at buymeacoffee.com/webdevwithmatt. Anyway, till tomorrow in day 8, or any other day in the series. I'll see you then.